Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I am your host on Teaching with Board Games. Back again today for another episode of Kicking It Old School with Full House by Parker Brothers. So in taking a look at the report card for Full House, I'm going to give the number of players a B. Plays between 2 to 4 players, and that is exactly my standard for a B. So no question, it gets a B. And looking at the learning for Full House, I'm going to give the game a B+. I give it the B+ because this game, while it has a lot of reading in it to begin with, because in the reading you're having to read a lot of the telegram cards. You move around the board, there's certain spaces that indicate you have to pull out a telegram card and you have to read what's on the telegram cards. So there's a fair bit of reading in the game. But also there's just a lot of math. And the math takes mostly the form of your simple addition and subtraction as you are looking at adding up when you have your guests checking out of your hotel, how much money are you making from them as they check out. But there's also times too where you're saying, maybe thinking of something like, okay, well I need say $35,000 to get to my next level of hotel, and I have $27,000, so thinking in mind, how much more do I need to get there? And so you're going to be doing those calculations, even though not required. I think people are going to be doing that, just wanting to know, okay, just sort of giving myself an idea here of my plan. How much more money do I need to be able to reach the next level? So you're going to be doing that subtraction as well. There's even opportunities for the game for fractions, because with one of the telegram cards there is a robbery card, and the robbery card says lose 1/4 of your money. So you're going to have to figure out how to do that. And I remember actually having a distinct memory of this as a child, not really understanding how to do that. And I asked, and I can't remember whether it was I asked my brother and he knew how, or my brother and I had to ask one of our parents how to do it. But it was one of those learning opportunities where we wanted to know how to do it because it meant that we could continue playing our game. So it's just one of those things that shows you again that sometimes by putting it into a context, by giving you an exact situation of where you're using it, rather than just using it abstractly, it can be a motivation to actually learning it. So overall, just lots of great math going on in this game. For fun, I'm going to give the game a C+. This game, I'd replayed the game just to get a sense of it, just to make sure I was understanding what I was talking about for the review, and it was a little bit disappointing. I mean, I seem to recall having fonder memories of this game than what I experienced in playing it again. And I think that's just because board games have come so much further now. But it's not like it's not a fun game. It has some moments where it's certainly cannot be fun. And I'll again talk more about that when I show you how the game is played. But it's roll and move, a lot of luck. There's not a lot of just decision making happening here. You're really a lot at the mercy of what the cards are doing and the dice are doing to you. So, but overall, it's still something about it that I enjoy, and I think that again, in terms of looking at what you're learning from this game and how it's going to be a better way to learn than just doing boring books or worksheets, then it's a good way to learn. So I would still think it's something worth looking at, but only a C+, so fun. For time, I'm going to give the game a B+. The game, as it says in the rules, actually it says two things in the rules, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But the first thing it says in the rules is that you're supposed to play, actually, come to think of it, it says on the back of the box here, you're supposed to play until one player gets $500,000 in cash. Now that makes for quite a long game, because especially the game has some things in it with some big ups and some big downs, and I'll talk more about that when I show you how the game is played. But so 500,000 could be a fairly lengthy game, but if you're okay with that, then great. But what I like about it is, even in the rules, it gives you that option to say, if you want to play for a set amount of time, then you can just say, we're playing for X amount of time, whether it's an hour or whatever, and then once you're done, you're done. And whoever has the most money at that point is the winner. So I like that it has that option for that indefinite finish point, so you don't feel like you have to get to the 500,000. You could end it earlier if you wish. So for that reason, I would give it the B+. For cost, I'm going to give the game a question mark, because this game is no longer available in stores. It's the kind of thing that you'd be looking for in a thrift shop when thrift shops open again, or garage sales, things like that. You know, if you're looking around and you ever find a copy of this, I would say get it. You know, whether you're getting it for the home or whether you're getting it for your classroom, I think this game has some merit, some value to it. I wouldn't pay any crazy amount of dollars for it, but you know, if you can get it pretty cheap, then sure. So I can't really give a cost because I don't know what you'll find it for, but if you can get a good copy of this for like $5-10, I say yeah, go for it. All right, let me take it to the table and I'll show you how this game is played. All right, so this is the setup for a 2-player game of For Sale. What I've done, you know, I've just had the blue and the yellow set up here. Each color is going to need their own medium, high, and luxury hotels. So I have that here for yellow as well. And everybody's going to take $7,500 in starting money. What you do on your turn, everybody's going to start off with this handy dandy little cool, this is cool for its time anyway, the People Popper. And when it works, okay, it was working fine when I was playing the practice game, just to remind myself how this game is played. Honestly, it was working. Okay, so here we go. So every person, so we'll say we're starting with blue. Blue's going to draw 3 people. They're going to look to see if the person, or the people in this case, or the person, the animal, if the card, shall we say, matches their hotel. Currently they have a green hotel, which is only economy. This person's looking for at least a medium priced hotel, so ineligible. So what this would do then is go around to the other players at the table. If anybody else has an eligible spot for this player, for this card, then they take it. But in this case, nobody can take it because we're all just starting and we all have just economy hotels. Then we take the second one, and now this one wants a suite. So we put this one into the suite. So you have suites, 2 suites on each floor, and then a single and double on each floor. And some people will want the whole floor, so you really want to make sure that you're putting everybody into one floor for starters, and then a single. All right, so that's my turn there for the people, and then I would roll the dice. This is the game is just a roll and move game. So I'm going to go here to Telegram. Now, as I roll Telegram, let me take this opportunity to talk about the thing. The telegrams are a mix between incredibly punishing and, you know, quite rewarding. And the ones that are incredibly punishing, it's difficult to justify those cards because it's, what if you are the person who's way behind the other person? I mean, in some cases, if the person way behind gets hit by a bad card, hey, then you know what? That gives you a chance to catch up. But if you're already way behind and then you get one of these cards, it can really just be, you know, a kick while you're down. I mean, quite almost literally. So I put some things here. So you get some good ones here, like Windfall. So you're receiving 10 times your daily suite rate. So this is where some of the nice math things comes in. So you're going to calculate 10 times whatever your suite rate is. So right now suite's $50, so it'd be $500, and it's the same for all hotels. So it'd be $500 that you're getting. Another one here. You can double any guests that you have and then check them out. So you'd look here. So this one's paying $1,000 and paying $400. So you pay the one for $1,000. You take $2,000 and then you check them out. You can get, you know, just an award for better homes and gardens or better hotels and gardens. You get sales on your next price of hotel. So going up to the medium price hotel is going to cost you $15,000, and then going, so from economy to the medium is 15. To the medium to the high price is 35, and then 60 to go to the luxury hotels. And you really are incentivized to do that because that's where you're going to get the best guests, and the people who, even the guests you get, are going to pay, you know, they're going to pay appropriate to this hotel that you're in, you know, so based on the line that they have. So these guests will pay $2,000 to be in a luxury hotel, where they'll only pay $400 to be in your economy hotel. So, and you all, as we saw here, some guests won't even stay in your hotel if you don't have the proper one. There's only one of these cards in the whole deck, and you have to have the money right then and there, otherwise it's just lost. So this is going to be lost to us. So extended stay, so you're paying, so the second floor guests, they pay, but they're going to still stay on. So in this case, I can get both of them, and they both stay there. Now this was an interesting one. So this is one of the punishing cards. This one's not so bad, I guess, depending on how much you actually have. This, I guess, is one where the person who's in the lead, if they get this card, it hurts them more than the person who's behind. Unless the person who's behind is saving a lot of money just to try and buy their next hotel, next upgrade of hotel and then get hit with this. I mean, it's just one of those things. So anyways, but 1/4. I like this, that it's a fraction. So you're using some fractions in there to figure out the how much money is being owed. But strike, I mean, see, it's something like this. This one, all guests check out and collect no money. Again, if you're way behind and you have like a full house and then suddenly you get this, it's just devastating. You reopen as an economy hotel. I mean, that's the worst card in the deck, where you lose everything, including, so you could have been at a luxury hotel, paid all that money to get up to this level of hotel, and then boom, it's all gone, and you're down to just an economy hotel again, have to build your way back up. I mean, why? That is such a... I would almost want to take that card out of the deck because it's just so mean. Just the thought of it is terrible. Now, there are 2 cards. To be fair, there are 2 cards in the deck, but that's 2 cards out of all of these cards that can stop that. There's a veto, which stops any telegram card, including on another player. Plus, there's an insurance card, which can cancel things like fires, floods, strikes, things like that. So what you're doing is you're moving around the board. When I'm playing 2 players, I ignore the players who aren't in. So I would go this way through the yellow and then back around this way. So I just continue to cycle through here and knock down the yellow player because I'm a bully that way. If you land on the check out all guests, you check out all your guests. You get the money for them. If you check out first floor, you obviously, anybody on the first floor you check out. Second floor, you check out the second floor. Telegram, you take a telegram card. Now, if you land on these, what's interesting here, so say I was here and let's roll, I got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on the floor. You double this dice. Whatever the dice roll was to get you to that space, you double it. So that's 10. Then you say 10 times the floor value, which is 200. So you're paying $2,000 to the other player for that. It's kind of like Monopoly, where you land on somebody else's property. And in this case, it's whatever your dice roll was, you just double that and then multiply that by the number there. So again, some more nice math things coming here. So obviously when you're counting up the money that you're getting from your guests, when you're counting up the money that you're using to determine how much you have for purchasing the next hotel, sometimes you're trying to calculate in your mind. And especially when you have like a full house and then you get like the check out all guests, the addition that you do going through that, can take a little while for some of the practice, but it's one of these things. It's a more fun way of practicing your math facts than simply just doing, worksheets or something like that. This game was an example of one of the games I played in my youth that helped me with my math facts by playing games like this. This is a game I played a lot when I was younger, and I think this game has some of that responsibility for helping me become a stronger math student as I grew older. So you keep going around, and the rules say that you're supposed to play until somebody has $500,000 in cash on hand, which can take a while. Alternately, you can start off with $10,000 instead of $7,500. That's another way to speed up the game. Also, another way you can do is just say, we're going to play for X amount of time. We're going to play for an hour, or we're going to play until dinner's ready, for example, and whoever has the most cash on hand at that time is the winner. I kind of like that way, and if you're going to have this game in a classroom setting, then that might be a great way to do it. You're playing during a recess, and you say, okay, when recess is over, then whoever has the most money wins. And that can be another way to do that. So, but that is it. It's a simple roll and move game. You're pulling out the things. You're putting the guests into your hotel. Not a lot of strategic decisions, because you have to take guests. You can't refuse guests. So they just pass over to the next guest, and they can't refuse them if they have space. Yeah, and I guess just knowing when to upgrade. Don't leave yourself broke with no cash, so that if you land on the opponent's spaces and you have to pay them money, then suddenly you have no money to pay, you have to downgrade again. Just make sure that you're upgrading at the right times. A lot of luck, but I like it because it's that more fun way to learn the math, practicing those addition, subtraction, multiplication, and a little bit of fraction facts in there. And that is Full House. So Full House is a game that I wouldn't be using in a classroom setting for like teaching math and having like maybe one group playing it while other students are doing other things. I don't think it really works well in that way. I think it's the great kind of game that I would keep around for if it's raining outside and the kids are having an indoor recess, then they can play this instead of something else. It just gives them something to do. Maybe during a board game club, it could be something that can be included there. Or you can just play it at home as a family and enjoy it as a family game, and just it might make for those opportunities too to be able to explain to any younger kids or people who struggle with the math. Maybe talk to them about strategies, about counting up the math. If you owe me $1,300 and you give me $1,500, and how much change you're going to get. You can talk about change. You can talk about the fractions. You can talk about all kinds of different ways to organize the money and stuff as you're making change for things. There's a lot of that money and thing counting going on here, so it's a great way to discuss strategies for dealing with that. So as I say, I think that there's opportunities for this, but it's not the kind of one that I would be doing in a class, because simply I don't think 40 minutes, even in that reduced time game, would be enough. I think you need to play it for a little bit longer than that, simply to allow people the opportunities to get to the higher levels where they can, higher level hotels where they can get all the guests. So as I said, this is a great kind of game to be checking out when you are, or looking out for rather, when you're in a thrift store or garage sale and you see there are some board games there that you might want to look at. Certainly some board games are ones I would not want, but this is one that I think that has some merit to it, that I would definitely want to get this one for my classroom. If I were in a situation where I found it in a thrift store, I would be buying a copy. So if you are new to the channel, then what I'm doing is I'm putting up content here on a weekly basis. I talk about gamification, game-based learning, review books about these topics, and just I'm talking about all these different ways in which we can improve our pedagogy by including these kinds of elements into our teaching practice. Whether you are a teacher or a parent or a teaching assistant or board game cafe owner, whatever it is that you do, and if you have an interest in board games and education through the use of board games, then this is the channel for you. And I would please ask you to hit like and subscribe down below, because as I said, I'm putting out content on a weekly basis to try and make sure I'm always putting out fresh content for you, the viewer, about all of these great things that I've been learning about and that I want to share with you. If you have any ideas for anything that I might include on the channel, whether it be older board games or newer board games or books I could be reading, or just topics of theory of gamification and game-based learning, then please leave me that message in the comment section below. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about today, then again, leave me that message in the comment section below. Do love to hear from the viewers. It gives me a lot of great feedback and a lot of great ideas for future content on the channel. Well, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson-Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school?